Show hosted by Trevor Owens. Oh yeah! The founder of Ninja Layers. I know you're trying to get a Ninja NFT, so he's the guy to talk to. Swarm him after the show. He really likes that. That's his thing. This is being live streamed to X platform and YouTube, so if you're not docked, don't walk across the way. I know you guys are really weird about that. Anyway, we got the CSO of Xverse Wallet. Oh. He cut me out before from me. One of the best Bitcoin wallets, Jan, right here. The best. Absolutely the best. Well, you know, we got conflicting interests. No, I'm just kidding. We got very talented artist, Billy Resty, right here, about to be a gem. And I'm Pio, host of the Bitcoin Show, ready to get in the mix, talking about Ordinals. Trevor, you are about to drop a significant, in my opinion, a significant Ordinals NFT collection. I've been paying attention to a lot of the price action on Ordinals. I'm not going to lie, some of it has shocked me. I understand a bunch of it. Some of it is pretty gnarly. You got Bitcoin frogs, 13 Bitcoins. That's thousands of US dollars, and it does feel like it's poised to run further. How do you feel about Ninja Alert's positioning right now? I believe it's a 0.02 Bitcoin mint. Poised to run? Yeah, 0.02. Poised to run. What do you think of the price action Ordinals right now?
Come on, man. You know,
it's free.
Obviously, the Ninja are gonna run like you've never seen anything in your life. But you know, I don't like to talk about the price action on my own NFT.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about Bitcoin frogs at 0.13 Bitcoin. That feels like a lot of money to me, and that's not me being disrespectful. I'm just pointing it out.
I mean, dude, I bought 4 Bitcoin frogs at $50. You know, this was the NFT NYC this year in April. And I was like, you know what? Let me just, like, these are cool. Like, let me just pick some of these up. I was giving them to friends. You know what I mean? I gave Isabel here. I gave her a frog. It's like, hey, you need Normal PFP. Obvious choice here.
Shout out to Isabel.
Yeah, this is
getting money.
This is a quality project. It's affordable. You know, I think it was really the time in the market that they had. They had very early. They had a big supply. They were cheap. They had this long time in the market. And so they had a very good accumulation period where the key thing you got to do right for every NFT project is your distribution strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple different ways you can do that. Like with Ninjas, we have a ton of work. And I'm like vetting every single Twitter profile on our allow list. And you know, we had a period of time where I get all these airdrops of free Bitcoin stamps to people, giving people points. And so we had a very long thing just to vet people to get the allowance, right? And so, you know, that's one way to do it, you know, to try and get out of the gate really strong with trying to select the people who love the Ninjas, and they're going to collect it, right? That's our goal, just get it. If we can get our supply is 1,500, if we can just distribute to 1,500 people who love it and they want to collect it, we're good. That's going up and to the right. For Bitcoin Frogs, they launched early, and then it was like, hey, if you want to participate in Ordinals, this is a very affordable product, a large supply, you can buy a bunch of them. And then they got that distribution worked out by just time in the market and accumulation. And now we had the run up in May when they ripped, you know what I'm saying? Because people are coming in, they have a strong community already. And then in this cycle, same thing, they just doubled down on being perfectly positioned for this next run. They come over every time it just gets stronger. So I think that's why a project that, you know, you just look at it and you're like, oh, this is funny, I like it, it's a very meme-based thing. But you know, it kind of catches a lot of people by surprise, but it's really the history of it and the time in the market. I mean, I personally don't think board games are the best art. I personally think, you know, people are going to have me here.
I had to throw that in there.
I don't
think about that all week.
I don't think CryptoPunk's art.
Nobody asked you what you thought of the Board Game Club art, Trevor. What are you talking about?
But they nailed the distribution. They got the right people in the community who wanted it, who valued it, and who diamond-headed it, and then onboarded their friends. And that was the key.
Well, a few key details there. You brought up the mechanic of you having 1,500 unique owners. You know, it seems like it's trending that way for Ninjas. One other NFT that was similar to that was Invisible Friends. Once upon a time, very hyped up drop. Saw it come out and minted for 0.2 Ethereum at the time. I want to say that was $300 to $400. Immediately shot to $20,000. This was at the literal top of the NFT market. But that is an interesting detail that you have that 100% unique ownership. Taproot will have a similar rollout. It seems like it's kind of a big Ordinals mechanic as it stands right now. I want to talk to Billy about being an artist and putting out art on Ordinals in just a second. I thought they cut my mic out. They're like, yo, literally get this guy out of here. But anyway, you mentioned that the Ordinals market moves a lot slower than the traditional NFT markets, but is that poised to change? Because I see interest only growing, and it's growing in an organic way as the general crypto market and the general NFT market pick up, as user interface improvements come through companies like Experts, Leather Wallet, other organizations building on Bitcoin. Are we poised to see those mechanics change and see maybe faster activity on Ordinals?
I think we'll see higher volumes. I think we'll see more activity. But I think over time, things are actually going to get slower. The reason being because it's very expensive to make inscriptions. And so there's a finite amount of block space. As Bitcoin ramps up, and we see, ERC20s, for example, dominating the mempool and fees getting really, really high. It's like 350 sats per V-byte today, this morning, compared to before Ordinals, it was 1 sat per V-byte.
So Bitcoiners are shitcoining on Bitcoin, is that correct? Is that one way to put it?
100%, man. That's kind of shitcoins are on Bitcoin.
Just saying. That's kind of what's happening, right?
The bankless guys are not happy about it.
Oh.
Max code.
So, in summary, I think it's gonna slow down because there's just not enough supply of PFPs and art on Bitcoin, and that supply is only gonna decrease at the rate it's being onboarded as fees go up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's actually one of the best things about it is that you look on Ethereum, you have so many 10K PFP projects. You have somewhere around 200K, blue chip, quote unquote, PFP projects, which are good projects. On Bitcoin Ordinals, the number is much smaller. It's like 20,000. So we have 1/10 of the number of blue chip projects. I would say community-wise, we're probably a third. If you look at the volume on crypto site, for example, we even surpassed Ethereum at one point in volume.
Well, Trevor, I think having already listed on Binance is a huge unlock for liquidity because it doesn't actually need to trade on layer 1. And that just kind of shows you what can happen with layer 2, like maybe settle on layer 1 in the future and stuff like that. Obviously, Ethereum's already doing it, Arbitrum, Polygon, stuff like that. But I think that's how it hit the 1 billion market cap, which activated a lot of Bitcoin maximalists coming to kind of attack Ordinals. Once you see that headline, shitcoin on Bitcoin hits $1 billion, they're mad that other people are making money and they have to start acting a little crazy.
Little opinion piece there from Billy.
I have a question for you, actually. I have a question for you because, ultimately you talk to people from all different chains, right? So what do people think of Ordinals beyond this bubble that you have here?
I think a lot of people didn't understand it at all, and a lot of people just don't understand Bitcoin anyway. And after the initial hype cycle, people literally said that Ordinals were dead, which if you understand it's a nonsensical comment because it's really just an innovation on something that's already breakthrough technology, which is Bitcoin. I think now people are interested, but the broader NFT market, the shiniest object right now is the Solana blockchain for NFTs. It just is, right? Because high frequency trading is really easy, it's gasless. But I think Ordinal Maxi Biz has attracted a lot of sort of NFT OGs, and a lot of people are very interested. It's reflected in the price. The price is insane. 0.55 Bitcoins for one Ordinal Maxi Biz. I don't know what the supply is on that. Is it 10K or 2K?
2100.
2100. There you go.
Everything in Bitcoin is 21.
Well, there you go. 20 makes sense. But I think that it's going to take time, given how new Ordinals is. And I do think that traditional Bitcoiners don't have to be converted into Ordinals for it to succeed. And I think that's going to happen because there isn't any downside. There's like a weird political divide, but ultimately it's just increasing activity on the chain. It really isn't compromising anything at a deep level. So you're just going to see a gradual conversion of it. That's my opinion. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on anything we've discussed so far, Jan?
No, I actually would love to get a sense from all of you guys. We get this sense from the Bitcoin community, right? Like, I want to spend my Bitcoin on this.
And that's
I would rather hold the Bitcoin, and that's what you do primarily, I believe, because you're a big Bitcoin bull. But like, isn't it the same thing as like buying a Solana NFT? So like, you also believe that Solana is going to go up, but you go and you spend a lot of Solana on your NFTs. So like, what's the difference there in thinking, and why do you think that this is a blocker? Like beyond the maxes, obviously.
So real quick,
Talking to the mic now.
well, the mic, the mic's a so-so. I'm just saying. Man.
It's so.
If you guys read this book, Broken Money by Lynn Alden, I'm sure she's going to be checking out this show. She'll be tweeting about this show. That's what she's going to be doing. But in the book Broken Money by Lynn Alden talks about the difference between a sound money standard and a fiat standard, right? The Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution, these all happened on a sound money standard. You're supposed to be on a sound money standard. You're not supposed to be on a bullshit money standard. Like, that's not what you're supposed to be on, right? On a sound money standard, investing is actually like a niche thing, because it's really, really, really risky to invest your sound money into anything. Because what you're doing is you're changing your sound money into a speculative investment when the sound money is going to appreciate in value. So that's actually what you do when you buy an NFT. On Bitcoin, you literally do it. You literally turn sound money into, a speculative investment, which is very risky.
Same thing when you convert into Ethereum.
It's a sound-ish money on Ethereum. It's a sound-ish money.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, fair. Maybe it's the sound money. I don't know. Anyway, it's a sound-ish money on Ethereum. It's a sound-ish money. It's definitely more sound than a fiat standard. And so you have to think, is the performance of this speculative asset going to outperform the appreciation of my underlying sound money that I'm spending on it? And so I just bought a bunch of pudgy penguins on Ethereum, right? I'm making the bet that pudgy penguin ecosystem is going to outperform Ethereum over the next 15 months. It's a bold bet to take, but I'm making that bet. I'm not deep enough in the Ordinal NFT ecosystem to plow a bunch of Bitcoin into Ordinals right now. That's Chuck. So I'm not ready to make that bet at with the same conviction of that one example that I just gave. But you are making that bet. You buy any NFT, you're saying, my bet is that this is going to outperform the underlying token, which in a crazy, Mr. Market is manic depressive environment, when the market's just frothy and cooking, they do outperform. Look at Bored Apes, look at CryptoPunks, look at all these other examples. But Ram Aluwalia, he's the CEO of Lumina Wealth. He's an asset manager. I don't know how many hundreds of millions he has, that he's managing. He came on our show the other day. He talked about NFTs are the first to lose liquidity and the last to gain. And I think that was such a great insight. That's absolutely true. NFTs get disrespected by the market immediately, and rightfully so. It's a speculative piece of art, right? You don't need that like you need Bitcoin or you need the underlying tokens. So you have to be aware of those environments. But when NFTs do get liquidity, they cook hard, and that's when people get like mad that they missed out on allow listings. People are gonna be mad at you because they can't get ninjas.
Yeah, they already are.
100%. No, that's cool. I mean, let's talk about the Solana thing a little bit, because
Sure.
we talked about it a little bit before the show started. And so, everything seems to be cooking in the crypto space, Bitcoin going up, Ethereum pumping. But Solana was kind of stable in the last week, right? And so what's happening there? Can you explain the dynamics?
Yeah, well, Bitcoin's going up because the Bitcoin halving happens next year, and the ETF news is right around the corner. Bitcoin's obviously leading the entire crypto space. Solana was mispriced for about a year because it was treated as Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX's shitcoin that was not a real thing, that was bullshit. And then all of a sudden, gradually, then all at once, as people say, Solana repriced when people realized, hey, this thing's actually pretty good. And the separation from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is a good thing. And so it was reflected in the price, right? So you saw a bottom of $8. Solana sold off harder than Bitcoin. I did the math on the show the other day. I think Bitcoin sold off like 82% or something. It just broke 80. You can do the math, right? 69K to 60, whatever that number is. Solana went from 260 to 8. So it's like a 97, 98% capitulation. And it was harder than any other Bitcoin, like any other mainstream crypto asset. Nothing sold off that hard on the coin side, like the fungible token side. Then all of a sudden it ripped to $65, basically off of the bottom of 8 over the course of a year. Happened really in a quick time frame at Breakpoint in Amsterdam. about a month ago, and now it's kind of priced more appropriately. Now you're seeing, I mean, I'm sure the Bankless guys would be happy to hear about it, the Ethereum kind of correction that's happening. Everyone was dunking on Ethereum left and right. I just think it's a weird.
So
It's my favorite thing to dunk on.
So you're
that's
saying,
fine.
you're saying it was obvious to long Solana at $7. I agree. It's up 330% this year. What I do find interesting is, Ethereum is underperforming Bitcoin this year significantly, almost like 30%. And I feel like that's just this kind of shifting tide, right? Everyone's like, oh, you could do the same stuff on Bitcoin. Well, if we're going to end up using layer 2s, why don't we just settle on Bitcoin? So I feel like that's what we're seeing in the price. Price is true. Everyone's kind of, not everyone, but, ETH maxis are upset about the ETH-BTC ratio. Bitcoin dominance hit 55% a couple of days ago. It's just remarkable. To me, that is the signal saying there's something special happening on Bitcoin. People are seeing the development. We're having the conversations. We're getting teed up for the future. And I think it's just a super positive orange tsunami is kind of crashing the beaches right now. The beaches of Miami.
The orange tsunami is crashing the beaches of Miami, ladies and gentlemen. Love to hear it. We can do audience discussion, contributions, questions. If anybody has anybody have anything that they want to discuss on the Ordinal side in any capacity on the market side, looks like maybe not everybody's chowing down. That's cool, no problem. So I guess with you guys doing the Ordinal show every week, how have you felt about the kind of evolution and the perception of Ordinals week over week, covering it closely from the beginning? Trevor, you were on it more than anybody else that I know when Ordinals first kind of became mainstream. I'd love to know your perspective on the week over week coverage and how perception has changed.
Yeah, I would say I'm not the best person to ask on that because I'm not really like a momentum trader. You know what I'm saying? I'm more like a value investor, so to speak. So the thing I'm always focused on, this is why I'm an Ordinal show, we do talk a little about trading and projects, but it's primarily about the tech side because I'm really focused on what are the fundamentals and how much more juice is there left to squeeze out of this protocol in terms of functionality to unlock, for example. Like what more new cool things can we do that make these things more valuable? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the primary focus I have, and I think that lags a few months behind usually. But from what I can sense, like I definitely think the Ethereum community is feeling it because for me, I'm like, what like I know the Ethereum narrative last cycle, ultrasound money, the world computer, etc. But those narratives don't make sense anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like Solana is better as a world computer, it's faster and more scalable, etc. L2s are fragmented. And it's just not as sound as Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Proof of stake and burning, like people have like explored those ideas, debated them, and Ethereum didn't win the debates. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying ETH has to pick a lane.
I'm saying what is the narrative? There is none. The best narrative I can think of is Ethereum, second best at everything. That's literally the narrative right now.
I just want to note, I asked Trevor what it was like to cover Ordinals week over week, and he just immediately starts shitting on Ethereum, which is fine, but it is just a funny angle to take. It's like, yeah, thanks for that question. Ethereum sucks. Anyway.
Well, I would say the audience that like I try to look to like see, engage like our people coming to Ordinals is the Ethereum maxis. You know what I'm saying? Remember the maxis of the NFT enjoyers on Ethereum. And I think that they through this last cycle, like definitely a ton of new people were onboarded. You see like a lot of people being like, all right, it's here to stay. That second time, you know what I mean? Like the first time you're like kind of watching, and then you see it come back, you're like, all right, this is
happening with NFTs in general.
Yeah, now you're like, all right, this is for real. I gotta get in now. But I still feel like there's just some people who, and especially people who onboarded only through Ethereum, and they never like onboarded the typical way, which is buy Bitcoin, and then you kind of get into Ethereum. Bitcoin is the gateway drug. There's the Ethereum NFTs are the gateway drug people, and I think they just have like a different perspective on Bitcoin. Like there's a lot of Ethereum maxis who, and some of that audience I think as well as like the people who like maybe left Bitcoin and like they're like they want like Ethereum is the cool place. If you're an Ethereum OG. After the 2017 era, Ethereum is everything that's happening. It was like the early days of Bitcoin, where you're like, man, these people are radical, but they're brilliant. The whole DeFi summer thing on Ethereum. If you join then, you're like probably like, fucking Bitcoin is irrelevant, and that's your thought process. There's a lot of other people who are just like, like they fade Ordinals because they don't understand the importance of Bitcoin. right? They fade, their sats like Nick, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't get it. Nick is like,
Right.
yeah, people collect coins and people sell rare coins for millions of dollars, but I don't get the value of collecting a Satoshi that was mined by Satoshi and sent to Hal Finney and is now in my wallet. I don't get it. I don't know why people are buying this stuff.
Did you hear the alpha this morning from Casey? Basically, when the Jubilee happens, it's going to happen after a difficulty adjustment. All I'm hearing is rare sat.
Yeah, the Jubilee sat, dude. Like, that's a collectible. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I go tell somebody at Fountain Blue about the Jubilee sat and let me know, how excited right now.
I mean, he's going after it for sure. And so I would say, I just don't think people recognize the importance of Bitcoin relative to Ethereum. Maybe they view it on like a level playing, but maybe like Ethereum is more important than Bitcoin, which obviously I don't agree with. I mean, it's the OG chain. The market cap is twice as big. It's dominating more and more. Why wouldn't NFTs on Bitcoin be a huge thing?
Oh, no, absolutely. And you pointed out the progression of Ordinals, which I think is great to talk about. We had Danny on the Bitcoin show last week, Danny from On-Chain Monkey, and he had a lot to say about that. He projected that in a year, Ordinals will be further along from a user interface perspective, just kind of ease of use. What are you paying attention to then? I'd love to, you're technical, Jan.
Not as technical, but, even looking at the Ordinal show, right, maybe to the original question, like what we have seen, like the progression, obviously, many times people complain that we're way too technical, like talking about technical things too much, that people don't really wrap their head around it. But I feel like we definitely see that there's a lot more people that actually want to build cool shit coming in. And also what I would say, something that maybe not many people are paying attention to, Asia, right? We have always kind of known that people
Asia's going to wake up.
Yeah, they are kind of woken up already. And it has been like in phases, right? Like in the first phase, we saw like they're going after the Bitcoin frogs, and obviously, Morty and BRC20s. Like, BRC20s wouldn't be here if it wasn't for China, if it wasn't Asia. Like, let's be real. Like, they were the ones that were trading it. That's why you see Binance on it. That's why you see OKX on it. They're like, these exchanges supporting it heavily. And so, that was the first phase. And now you have the second phase that I'm seeing a lot of these Chinese investors coming in and want to fund these infrastructure companies. So they're funding companies that are doing DLC stuff. They're funding companies that are building these other protocols for fungible tokens. They want to explore, like, can I invest in Taproot Wizards, and stuff like that. And so, like, that's like the second phase of like Asia waking up. And I think that's going to be pretty interesting, kind of getting into the halving next year. Because Asia is like, they're ultimate DJs. They love this stuff. And they're going to come up with these narratives why these like JPEGs and tokens actually make sense.
Setting up for a juicy 2024. Billy, I'd like to get some perspective on the art side of Ordinals. I feel like it's an ideal protocol, an ideal chain to be minting like one-of-one artwork and things like that, right? What's your perspective on the market for art on Ordinals?
I truly believe that, like, if it's worth creating, it's worth storing forever on Bitcoin. I feel like, it's, as an artist, it's cool to have a choice, right? If you can go to Solana if you want, but I really feel like the highest quality, most valuable art should be on Bitcoin and will be on Bitcoin. I firmly believe that. But art's a funny thing. We're here at ArtBasel. ArtBasel Week. Ordinals is just infiltrating everywhere. It's awesome. But art is subjective, so it's a really interesting topic. But also, we've seen on NFTs on Ethereum, the highest performing projects through the bear market was art. Autoglyphs, Schools of Gucci. It's just been insane. And we haven't actually seen those kind of valuations trickle into Ordinals quite yet. Ordi was the first token to hit $1 billion out of Turbo, Pepe, and all that jazz, but that interests me a lot less than some of these digital artifacts that collectors are going to be gunning for. Because once they realize this is going to be technology that outlives us, that we pass to our children, a Bitcoin shroom that was inscribed within the first 100 inscriptions. Fuck yeah! If that thing goes for less than $1 million, what's it at?
What's the prediction?
It was at 48K last night.
Okay, that's free. That's like
you know what's happening, right?
Enlightenment.
OMBs.
So they're doing the auction. Is it live now? It's live right now.
The first Sotheby's Ordinals auction. Yeah.
And it's Bitcoin shrooms.
OG project, one of the OG projects.
It had like 48 bids last night. It was around like 38, 48K.
But
It seems underpriced to me for
art
sure.
art is a funny thing, right? Like Chromie Squiggle at $50, it's like, yeah, my kid could make that. Cool. Chromie Squiggle at $20,000. This is fucking fine art. Put this in the museum. So.
I mean, it's the same with everything else, no?
Does Sotheby's take Bitcoin or is it only USD on their auction site?
So USD.
Good question. And by the way, I love Eric Snowfro. He's incredible person. Everything touches is fire.
Well, there you go. I know everybody wants to take pictures with Trevor, so we can't cut this short so everyone can get their pictures. And people were lining up before.
His
So.
hair is looking mighty good today.
Ladies and gentlemen, follow Trevor on Twitter at TL. Follow Jan. Jan, what's your Twitter handle?
Non-fungible underscore Jan. JAN.
There you go. Follow Billy. What's the handle?
Billy Resky, Holy Docs, ready to party.
Careful, everyone. Anyway, and make sure you tune into the Ordinals show hosted by Trevor. It's twice a week, right?
Twice
Let's
a
go.
week and Bitcoin show.
And the Bitcoin.
Absolutely, of course.
Bitcoin show.
Trust Machines sponsors the Bitcoin show. Shout out to Trust Machines partnering on this event. Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.